YouTube. I have no idea what I'm recording because I am out on the water on my dam. So I thought it was time I made a new video, and I thought, ironically, this would be the place to make it, because at the moment water is a big issue for macadamia farmers in the northern rivers. There were some great storms around most of New South Wales, and you heard of Burke getting 90 millimetres and a couple of other really parched towns, which, let's face it, need water much more than this area, getting quite a lot of rain, and that's fabulous. Now, it doesn't look like a drought from what you'll probably be seeing right now, but there is a very dry period in the northern rivers, and it's getting to the point where my agronomist is almost writing off the season's crop, which is very alarmist, and he admits that he's a pessimist. But what's happening at the moment is flowering's finished. With any luck, you can see some trees in my orchard straight ahead. That's in the dam block, and they've got baby nuts. Sometimes quite lots of baby nuts. It's a bit uneven. Some trees will have none, others will have nuts all over them, and I'm still sort of at a loss to understand why the pattern is so inconsistent. But then it's my first year farming these things. But here I am on the here I am in the dam of the property, which is on my land. I own it. It's 1.2 million litres of water, as I've said in previous videos. The problem is, in a situation like this, it is completely out of bounds to me. I can't use it for irrigation unless I have a irrigation licence from the New South Wales government, and the New South Wales government has basically stopped issuing them. Some nice water lilies. You either have to buy an existing water licence off someone else, which gives you a right to take a certain amount of water from the waterways, or you have to apply for one yourself and hope that the government grants it. But of course, you know, at this time, people looking to irrigate instead of just rely on natural rainfall, you would be joining a reasonably long queue, and the government doesn't want the rivers to dry up. Because this dam is not just a rainwater collection dam, it in fact has two creeks flowing into it and one larger creek flowing out of it to Cooper's Creek. You can't really see this as my water. It's water that's passing through, even though it's stopped for a bit, and I can use unlimited amounts of it for domestic use and drinking and whatever else. But yes, here I am in the middle of a macadamia farm that is absolutely starving for water, and here's all this water that I can't use. In any case though, it's a nice excuse to show it to you. There's a couple of moorhens who can manage to walk around on the leaves of these water lilies, and the water lilies themselves are extraordinarily beautiful. They're really nice and delicate. I've come out to film here in the middle of the day, which is when they are at their best, because the flowers are fully open. At night, they'll be fully closed like an unopened flower, and you don't see anything much. Don't really want to collide into them though. Sorry, water lilies. And it's a nice little ecosystem. We've seen a couple of new bits of wildlife up here in the latest trip, including two lace monitors. And lace monitors are a very, very large lizard. These specimens that we saw, I've seen two of them. One is well over 6 foot. The other is probably more like 4 foot. They're not an endangered lizard at all, and they're certainly no danger to humans. Their intended prey is a whole lot smaller than us. They'll eat rats, mice, frogs, those sorts of things, and so you'd regard them as if anything, you'd regard them as a useful creature to have around the farm. Certainly majestic looking. They're absolutely large lizards, and they'll look at you when you see them, and then they'll just wander off. They don't run. They're not that scared of you. They'll just walk off calmly into the bush somewhere. you don't see them again after that. But so you can see, if you're able to see the shoreline from my camera angle, and I just don't know if you can, it's been very dry. It's not what you want at this time of year. Ordinarily by October you'd see some wet, or so I'm told, and that is when the end of the flowering season happens for macadamias. You don't want it raining during the flowering because of the diseases it can cause the flowers, but as soon as the flowers are finished, you want rain and rain and rain and more of it, so that the tree decides to set some good crop for you, in the belief that it will mature. If it doesn't get that, within a few weeks' time, so by the end of November, the trees will basically abort their crop and go into a survival mode, which basically, and some of them, yeah, the risk there is that some trees, the weak trees, actually die from a lack of moisture if they don't get it. We had forecast rain here today. Of course, you take that with a grain of salt, and we had about 10 minutes of rain about an hour and a half ago. None of that's resulted in runoff, so the water here in the lake is really quite clear. No platypuses around, so there's nothing to show you there, and I don't know that the GoPro would capture them. But yeah, so it's a bit of a wait and see, guys. It's going to be a difficult season if we don't get some rain really soon, and I'm predicting that actually is going to be the outcome, because the rain forecast for the next couple of weeks really shows nothing much on the horizon at all. I'll be back up here obviously doing what I can. I've been mowing in order to put some organic matter, as in grass, under the trees. We've had manure trucks spreading 200 tons of cow manure on all these beds, in the hope that the rain, of course, when it does come, will rain it in, encourage some earthworms. The agronomist is still saying I should keep up the spray, and it's probably not a bad idea just in case it does rain. But yeah, after a couple more weeks, really what you're looking at is preparing for next season and giving up on this one, and that is, you know, look at some tree work, feed organic matter to the soil, but not sort of the more immediate fertilizer for the present season. And that's fairly common sense, to be honest. So anyway, guys, it's a lovely little bit of water to be on, given the absence of it elsewhere, and it's absolutely a delight to show it to you. Sorry it's been so long between videos. I will try and be a little more regular, and hopefully the news update next won't be such a bad one as I'm predicting today. Thanks guys, catch you soon, bye.